Bad day last night, and what do you even call it? It's not even one day. Last night plus this morning up to now. Bad day, whatever. Bad transitional period between days. Bad end of one day, bad start of another day. But maybe if I can exorcise my thoughts, I can help get past it or make sense of it all. I'm very tired. Today is Easter Sunday. It's been raining. There was no forecast of rain, but it's rained everywhere. It's meant to be dry now, and it's meant to be dry for the rest of the week, but it fucking pissed it down raining through the night and before I left. Because I had to be in slightly early in work, but some would say it's just not early at all, 1 PM. Because of my home situation with the domestic abuse stuff, that means I have to get up 5 AM because there's this period of time, like I had to leave the house at just before 10 AM, and there's this period of time in the house where boys come out, they fuck around with things, they go in the bathroom at random times between, like, I want to say between 8 o'clock and 9:30, but I learnt from like working in previous business, cost cutter, when I had to go in early a lot more, that when I go in, try and do a shower earlier than them, one of them ends up trying to copy me by coming out and having the shower earlier than me, and then it just becomes this stupid vicious cycle of like, who's gonna come out and shower earlier than the other one, because they're like, I mean, you can't call it competing because that wouldn't make any sense. They're just doing dumb, irrational bullshit out of spite to attack me. And so because of this constant like, oh, I'm going in the shower, okay, now they've seen me go in the shower earlier, so they have to outdo me one better and go in the shower earlier than me, and then I've got to go out of the shower. It sucked my, like, if I need to get up early, the best time I can go to the shower is 5 AM, because they don't seem to want to go earlier than that. I think if they got into their stupid, irrational game again, they would still try and go earlier than that, and end up pushing me back to like 3 AM to wake up or some shit like that, which is near enough going to sleep time. And then usually for my late shifts and usually for a normal day, like, and they don't seem to copy me with this, I get up and have a shower at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and that suits me well for getting up for my later shifts. And they don't seem to copy me or go over that as if they want to be up before those times, but they still fuck around. They do nonsense to spite me. They go chucking all the towels in weird places, in the shower, in the bath, taking them off where they're meant to be to dry. Joe puts a bunch of, I don't know what you call them, things Mum has, porcelain statue things of tubes and balls, and I don't know what they are really, porcelain large objects, just clutters up the table in the shower with them, so I can't put anything down. And then he sets the shower on economy super cold, so I've got to mess with that before I get in. Not that he uses that shower setting for himself, he just knows that neither do I, and so he showers and he changes all the shower settings to something daft to preempt me coming into the shower. And Sam will fuck around with toilet rolls, like moving around, stealing them for the other room, turn them upside down, and Sam will also go downstairs and take cooking spoons and wedge them into a pot with a whisk and combine it with the whisk and fuck around so that, you know, I can't get my cooking spoon out, but just because he knows I use that one and he, I guess, doesn't ever use that one, so why would he be touching it at all? It's to spite me. And he takes pans and hides them at the back of the pan cupboard, my cooking pans, puts stuff on top of them so it's harder for me to get them to cook with them. And he blocks either the gate or the garden path with the bin bags that are outside, and he also stops those bin bags. Basically, the last time he did it, he stopped the bin bag even reaching the place where the council picks it up. So yeah, the council can't pick up our bins because of Sam doing this stupid thing. And Mum's going away swanning off. She's all swanning off, and I'm pretty sure she's having an affair with some guy called Scratch. When she's married to my dad, she didn't divorce him. She's just having a fucking affair and trying to pretend she's not very successfully pretending she's not, because it's kind of clear. And she, you know, whenever she leaves the house, the boys amplify their fucking around with the house because they think they own the house. And she's gonna go away to like Australia for 3 weeks because she writes shit down on the calendar. Not because we talk. You just see like she writes Val away on the calendar whenever she takes some long holiday. And she's never took one that lasts 3 weeks. It's always like 1 week or a week and a half. But this time she's going to Australia and it's going to be 3 weeks, and it's going to be 3 weeks of the boys fucking around. I can already predict one of the net results of that is that they're going to stop the bins going to the council, and therefore we're just going to have a line of like, I don't know, what is it, 2 bin bags a week or more. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to have 8 bin bags that he's just going to put on the garden path or blockade the gate with pre-prediction. That's what it's going to be like, and then he's just going to fuck around in as many other ways as he can think of to spite me in the house. So that's a stressful time that's coming up. Conversely, my manager taught me how to book holidays on my website. So I've applied. You have to apply for a holiday. I don't know if they turn you down and you have to try again or whatever. But I put 2 weeks down for May. It's gonna be like last year, and then I put 2 weeks down for July. So hopefully they'll get approved and I'll have those holidays. I can look forward to being off work and being able to do some things, some trips and things, but I can't really like look forward to anything in any kind of happiness way because of where I live and what I'm trapped by with the domestic abuse situation, and also just the fact that the world outside the house has gone to shit. You know, my situation could be improved if estate agents let me rent a flat, but every time I try and apply to rent a flat, they block me off and say I have to have some astronomically high amount of money above what is needed for the flat to rent the flat. Like, you have to be a billionaire just to rent the cheapest flat. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why do you have to get to the stage where you're a billionaire or a very rich person in order to rent a £500 a month flat? Reserving everything for the elites now, are we? And I can't get to a stage where my job situation is stable and alright enough that I can try and take up my hours to something high, like a full-time amount of hours in my job. Like, you can't do that when people socially fuck you around. They say the job is easy. I say the job is easy to do in a job way, but it's a problem not being able to be okay with the job and talk to people. And it's a problem that makes me feel that it'd be very difficult for me to spend more time there than I am spending there currently. Like, to up my hours to something. They don't give you enough to do, and you haven't really got anyone to talk to in a normal way there. And jobs are very difficult to get, so you might say just get another job, dude. Like, because of the world and the situation of how the world is, jobs are actually very difficult to get. They don't gel with someone like me who doesn't want to comply to the awful stuff that's going on. You know, maybe a lot of these people make money because they just will comply to government and will comply to doing things to fit into the awful way that things have become. But because that's not me, it's very difficult for me to just get another job or just keep trying jobs until I find one that is normal enough or friendly enough that I could up my hours, I guess. 41 now. I mean, I felt like an old man, and I felt like my mind has kind of died since lockdowns happened and I found out everything's insane and we're back to the World War II days. So, very difficult still. I was tired getting up because of, I had to get up at 5 a.m. and that wasn't the time I was leaving the house, so I just got up at 5 a.m. just so I could have my shower, because I can't start a day right unless I have my shower and I feel clean and hygienic, and I've got to have a shower to start my day. It's just like a necessity for me. But I was having a shower at 5 a.m. and then I had to wait 4.5 hours more or something to get to the point when I needed to leave the house. What is it now? 10:47. Oh man, so I'm tired. Also, another thing that went on, so I've had an Instagram account for a while. It was personal to begin with. I was using it as you would use an Instagram account, like my Daily Booth account, where you just post pictures of you and your life and what's going on day by day. It's weird. It's always been a kind of weird concept site, like a vanity site, I guess. But you could talk to people in the past. It's a little harder to talk to people in recent times. But in the past, you could talk to people there and meet them. Like, that's how I talked more to May, and that's how I talked more to Maddie, and that helped me meet them. Probably helped me with some other people, maybe Jess, although I think that was more like Daily. There was Daily Booth when I knew Jess. I don't think I talked to her on Instagram. And then it wasn't so much a tool for meeting people because it became even more shallow than it was. Added these dumb features like stories, and added even more, combined with Facebook, added even more authoritarian stuff, censorship, and eventually they were censoring me to the point, and putting rules up and terms of service and stuff to the point where I thought, oh yeah, I think they accused me of something when I was talking. I got reported or accused, I was talking to someone, and they're like, we must ban speech. We must ban this person because they talked. They spoke freely on the site and said naughty words or whatever. And at that point, I just thought, they're trying to get me to delete my tweets and they're trying to suspend me. I'm just going to delete all my personal stuff, and they don't make it easy, because my personal stuff, pictures of me and my real life, kind of spanned back 3 years at that point. So and they don't make it easy to delete 3 years worth of content, so you just have to scroll in some back-end setting and slowly manually click each individual picture and click delete, and it takes time to do each one. So I was there for days and days trying to delete every trace of myself on the Instagram, and I left my username, and then I just thought, I'm gonna use this place to post political memes, and they can ban me when they want to ban me or suspend me over that, but at least I don't have my private stuff on the site anymore. And I noticed that they stalk you off platform when they want to suspend you, and they seem to shadow ban you or filter you from speaking and stop you posting on certain posts after that point. And they try and stop you making new accounts. The way I found out they were stalking me off platform is I kept making brand new emails and brand new usernames and passwords that were absolutely nothing to do with my past passwords, emails, usernames. They're completely detached, there was literally no way of tracing them back to the first Instagram account I made. And I used about 3 of those or more to try and make accounts on Instagram, and every one of them was rejected from starting an account. And so that's how I knew that they were tracking me and stalking me off platform to find out who I was, so that when I tried to start a new Instagram, I couldn't start a new Instagram. So they partial suspended me on my first Instagram account, stalked me off platform, stopped me making any more Instagram accounts, and was just like, I guess, the shadow banning type thing, where they know that they've tried to suspend you in past, so they limit your account features. Basically, it's all anti-free speech authoritarianism stuff, and they try and stop you engaging fully on the platform. However, you can just still post miles and miles of anti-government memes and stuff, and they never did anything to me for it, which I thought was baffling. I thought if they're going to get me for anything, they'll get me for this. And I just posted them to the extremes, going, you know, if I'm gonna get this account banned, I'll go out with a bang and get it banned for something that isn't my personal life but is my political beliefs. And it never happened. And I'm not going to say cut a long story short, because I'm tired. Every bit of this is a long story. But the other day on Instagram, I did get full suspended at last, and it wasn't for any of my memes I was posting. And it was weird. It was that I said, I was watching Hayes Outdoors, who I like, on YouTube, and I had a problem with him doing more ads. I thought it detracted from his content, and I've always been against advertising. And when he did an ad, like, overtly on his Instagram, just selling a product, nothing really to do with his channel or anything, I said, like, adverts, not into those. And that was, like, the basic comment. And weirdly, I got a response from him. He was triggered, and he wanted to defend ads, and I thought that was very strange. Very strange behaviour from someone who I watched, because he was not complying with lockdown rules. Although he would say every now and then things like COVID, as if they were real. But his channel was refreshing because, you know, he got out walking when the government was telling everyone during lockdown that they have to stay in their homes and not go anywhere outside the house. So he was doing what I was doing, and that's how I got into him. But he is a normie. Anyway, yeah, he got triggered that I was saying I don't like advertising in that simple way, and went, not trying to throw shade, mate, but why do you think it's a bad thing to do advertising and make money off it? And one of his followers commented behind that in the collectivist gang piling sort of way, like, I don't quite remember what he said, but he was raging like, oh my god, how can you type a comment like this that hates on advertising, or something like that. The photo had a guy in it, the user pic had a guy in it. I can't remember that tweet specifically what it said, but it was like that. And so I got to see Hayes' Instagram comment to me at that point, when he had one of his followers like trying to be, you know, human shield type thing over speech, which is SJW behaviour. And it's already just weird behaviour to be triggered and offended by someone just going, I don't like ads. Anyway, I said to him, I can do one better than explaining to you in a comment why I don't like ads. I'll send you a DM, direct message. I used to call them just messages, inbox messages. Through the internet it became PMs and then DMs, and I never liked that terminology. But anyway, I said in the comments I'd send him a message to respond. I then went to inbox message him, Hayes Outdoors. I posted a link to my advertising video on YouTube, which is a video I have, the first video I think, where I fully explain why advertising is bad in my eyes. You can watch that on my primary channel. It also covers like television. I sent him the link to that and said, here's a video I did responding to you if you are genuinely curious. And so yeah, that's what I sent to him. And then I suddenly couldn't get into my account, and it didn't tell you anywhere on the screen, but it told you at the link bar at the top that you could look at the URL in the address box, and it said suspended in there, instagram.com/suspended bunch of numbers. And on the main screen it said complete this challenge to prove you're human, which is a bunch of bullshit, and I'm not a robot, and it doesn't prove anything, anyway, so I clicked their weird game thing, entered their like, look at this code that's a bit mutated in an image on screen, and typed the numbers in the box. I did that. Was it called a CAPTCHA or a challenge? I did that thinking that would get me back in, and then suddenly, no, it's not about being a robot, and it still says suspended at the top, and it's like, we need your phone number to verify you're human. So it's Online Safety Act bullshit. And I'm like, I never want to give Instagram my phone number, or Facebook, or Twitter, or anything like this. So I'm like, I guess I'm fucking locked out of my Instagram, and it's finally happened, because yeah, I tried various ways of getting in without entering my phone number. It's not, there are no ways apparently. You have to have a mobile. I think even if you do that two-factor authentication thing, you still have to have a mobile, so it's just a way of tracking you basically. Gotta get going in a minute because it's 11 o'clock. I think what happened was that second guy who was trying to do the human shield, the SJW guy who commented on his thing, opened up my Instagram page, saw that I had anti-government memes on there, and then like hit report on my account or something. And being the SJWs they are that run Facebook and Instagram, instead of like being skeptical of the report or doing right to face accuser with me or anything like that, they just instantly suspended me. And they wouldn't tell me why. They wouldn't tell me what it was. They wouldn't tell me who got reported for what I was supposed to have done. It was just this like, enter your phone number so we can verify your identity to let you back in. And I'm like, no, I've never done that before, and I'm not gonna do it now. So I'm basically locked out of Instagram. They allowed you to log out, they allowed me to download my data, and then they said if you don't like you use your phone number to get in with a certain amount of days, might be 30 days or something, we'll just deactivate your account. Like, they never say delete your account, they always like deactivate, like, so we're keeping your account, but we're not letting anyone see it except us, the staff. So it's always like that kind of thing. And yeah, so that's another thing that's been playing on my mind. And I think it was that guy. I think it was like collectivistic SJW behaviour of the people surrounding Hayes Outdoors. I wouldn't believe that it would be Hayes himself, but there's always a possibility that he got offended enough at nothing with the advert thing to click my name and go over to my page and go, oh my god, anti-government man, and click report. I would hope that he would be much better than that, but who knows. Anyway, because I wasn't sure that it got through, I sent the YouTube link to the advertising video to Hayes, and then my account was suspended, so it might be that he wouldn't be able to see what I sent him. So I went over to Facebook and found Hayes Outdoors on Facebook and resent my link to my video with a note saying, I don't know if this got through on my Instagram. So now I definitely have an account that has sent him the link that can be seen if you were to look at it. And yeah, that's the end of that saga. And it's awful how people defend advertising these days, following the conservative grift. And even the leftists use the advertising thing. In fact, they're part of the system that creates it. Anyway, I've exorcised some of the horrible things going on today. There's still more. I mean, I tell you, I was thinking about Donka, and I watched some of her streams last night, and I need to leave my PC on all night, so I had a second alarm. And then when the alarm went off on my PC and my phone, the way that the alarm set up on my PC made it difficult to turn off, which I suppose helped me listen to the alarm and make it a hassle. So I would be more likely to get up and not ignore the alarm. But up till then I was watching Donka streams all night, and it's just like, this is a real person who this year could have been a feature of my life and was quite well suited to me in some ways, but yeah, it wasn't very nice to think about. Anyway, that's the end of this colossally long video that I may or may not put on the second channel, or I may just put in a mix-up for this bad day. And now I've got to try and drive. Alright, this day's getting worse and worse. Addendum to the last video I just made. I came into the car parking lot very slowly, drove through, went to find somewhere to park, someone tailgated me, followed me through the cut through, expecting, I guess, to try and follow me all the way out of the car parking, but that's not where I was going. I was going to park, and I stopped at the speed bump, put on my reversing lights and my indicator, and they were behind me, and I was like, I'm going to reverse into the space I normally do, which is this one. And then, like, I started reversing, and he's like just sat behind me, not budging, as if he expects me to go forward or something. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying to park. So I'm just slowly continuing trying to reverse and parking. Eventually he pulls back and lets me reverse into a space, and I wave, and then he's like, shake head, like, it's like, what are you doing that for? And then while I'm watching him tut at me and shake his head, I'm reversing slowly, and I think, like, I feel a bump and the car comes to a halt, and I think I've hit this. There's like a metal pole thing just at the back of these particular spaces that I use, and I heard a thud. I must have hit it. I was going slowly, but I must have hit it with the back of the car. And I was like, oh god. And that's because that guy was fucking around. So that's horrible. Went outside the car, looked at the back. There's no damage, but I must have hit the metal pole. Maybe some tiny bits of paint chip that I could see. Still bad though. What's worse though is, once I got settled into the car, I started looking at my phone to see this Admiral email I got, and it says, for the insurance that just renewed with Admiral, thank you for renewing your insurance with us. As part of our checks for your policy renewal, it's been highlighted by the DVLA that there may be a possible discrepancy with the license details we hold on file. An example could be the following: an undisclosed motoring offence. So they need to know, when I ran a red light earlier in the year, they never told me on Admiral that they needed me to tell them about things like that. They never told me. And now that my license has just renewed, DVLA has contacted them, and they want to know about the passing the red traffic light, even though I didn't claim for anything. And so this possibly jeopardizes my renewal of my insurance, which I need to even be able to drive the car. And I didn't know this was a thing, that they needed to know about a motoring offence that I didn't claim anything for. So that was running the red traffic light, I think. They need to know about it. And they say, as part of our checks for your policy renewal. So I might tell them, and they might decline, and, well, they might ask, they might take my money and not give it back to me for the renewal, is one thing, because they let it auto renew first before telling me this. So they made me pay before they said this thing, and they might keep my money. They might not reimburse me if they decide not to renew my policy, so they might steal from me based on this thing that they never let me know. And if they take away my renewal, then I don't have a insurance for my car, and I'd have to get it somewhere else, and they were the only ones that gave me insurance initially. So it's like, oh, so it's in jeopardy. Suddenly me even having this car to get to work is in jeopardy. So I'll have to go through their procedure and see if they still let me keep my insurance policy this year. This bad day keeps getting worse and worse. At least it's stopped raining finally.